Hello and welcome to another issue of the Headless Hammerhead Guide to Comics and More. Today we're going to tell you how to create cool adventures, so let's go! We've all seen, read, and heard bad stories, and they suck to sit through. But what we're going to do now is teach you all of the basic elements of good storytelling so that all of your adventures end up like a great Steven Seagal movie. We begin with characters. What separates characters like Batman and Superman, or even Spider-Man and Captain America? Batman and Spider-Man are more popular, but Superman and Captain America are generally beloved as the all-American heroes, which it's counterintuitive to think that they're not as popular as the other two. Well, what makes Batman unique is that he is very relatable. Superman is like a god, but Batman is a regular person. Yeah, he's rich, but anybody could achieve that in their life. And Spider-Man is also very relatable. He's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Whereas Captain America, he's kind of a government tool. So not a lot of people aspire to be that. Another major thing that sets Spider-Man and Batman apart is that they have a great rogues gallery. The villains are just as, if not more interesting than the heroes themselves. So people read their stories for the villains as much as they read it for the heroes themselves. And what makes these villains interesting is they have clear motivations. Watch any true crime show and you've heard of these. But the main one, you've got money. Money is a great motivator because with money, you can do pretty much whatever you want. You can get people to do what you want. It gives you power. It's also often attached to fame, and it can help to get you whatever you want. Another motivator is, of course, power, which is what money gets you as well. But power doesn't always come with just money. You can get power in different ways. That's why everybody wants to be president, even though a president's salary is really minimal. They want to be president because of the power attached to it. Another great motivator is love. Now, imagine if the alien in Aliens was motivated by an undying love for Ellen Ripley. That would make for a very interesting story, probably more interesting than the one we got. But we'll discuss what motivated the aliens shortly, which is a valid one, but not as interesting as something like this would have been. Another great motivator for villains is revenge. A lot of villains have felt that they've been wronged in some way, either by the hero or by society in general, and they're motivated by the need for revenge, to get back at somebody and make things even. And then you've got accidental motivators. So, for example, Sandman. He was involved in an accident and he couldn't control his powers initially. He accidentally destroyed things, hurt people, and Spider-Man had to stop him regardless. So he was a villain, even though it was accidental. And then perhaps the least interesting, but scariest and most horrifying, would be an instinctive or animalistic drive. So this is, of course, what the aliens had as a motivator. They're like animals in a way, where they're driven by instinct, either to protect their young or because they just need to feed. And it's a motivator that generally animals have, but for a villain, it's not really something that people would find interesting unless you're running a horror story. Most English professors, writers, and critics will agree that there are 5 main story elements that make for an interesting and complete story. So you've got characters, which we just discussed. There is, of course, a setting, conflict, theme, and plot. Conflict is necessary for every single story. Without conflict, you've got slice of life, and those just are not interesting. For a role-playing game, if you just have a slice of life adventure, it will get boring very, very quickly. You need some type of conflict, and we'll discuss that shortly. The theme is the overarching idea of your story, and then you've got the plot, which is divided into 5 points as well, and you can study those. I highly recommend that you get a book, for example, The Elements of Fiction by Walter Mosley. This will break down all of this information, especially the elements of the plot, which, if you follow it to a T, you are guaranteed to get at least an interesting story. And back to the role-playing game, a way to keep players engaged and keep them from feeling robbed is to keep the fun going. And one of the best ways to do this is to allow players to do whatever they want. This is a superhero game. So to tell a player no outright really kills the fun. We've been playing now for several months, and my group has had a blast every single adventure. And it's because, if, for example, they're running Hulk as a character, and even though by game rules, he cannot lift a mountain, if the player decides he wants to try to lift a mountain or rope the moon and bring it down closer to the earth to make the waves change for whatever reason, I allow them to do so with feats, and I allow feats to be attempted with spending a karma point. For example, if Storm wants to lift the roof off of the villain's lair to gain access to a room that's secure, this would be a feat. Or if Spider-Man wants to create a shield out of his webbing, this again would be a feat. I allow my players to use a karma point, roll against a specific target number based on difficulty, and then they can either succeed or fail. Now, we mentioned conflict, and every story needs conflict, and it doesn't mean a battle. Sometimes it could be a bomb that might be going off, or it might be a building's about to fall on the civilians, and the heroes have to rescue the civilians in this way. But whatever it may be, there need to be stakes or odds that could cause the heroes to lose in some way. But a word of caution, players need hope. There always needs to be hope for the heroes to have a chance at winning. If you have odds that are too high against the heroes, they will lose hope, they will get frustrated, they will feel robbed, they will feel like the cards are stacked against them and it's unfair, the game was unfair, and they will not have fun. There always has to be a good chance that they will succeed. You can make a story very interesting by putting really high odds against the players, but there should be a way for them to, say, find a stapler, or the ultimate nullifier that looks like a stapler, or whatever, some item that boosts their odds, but they need to run through a challenge to get this. Maybe top this muffin that's hidden underground, whatever. The heroes will feel a sense of accomplishment. They've boosted their odds, so they feel like they've done this, and they will thank you for it, and they'll have a lot of fun. So ends another issue of the Headless Hammerhead Guide to Comics and More. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and hit that notification bell. Not only will it give you all the feels, but each comment that you leave after you subscribe will give you one entry into our contest, which I will be running live in a video in a couple of weeks. You'll receive an announcement and a notification once I am running that, and the winner will get every single product that Marvel has released and will release for the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game through 2024. So you will get all of the ones they've released so far, including the Kang Adventure, the X-Men expansion, the Spider-Verse expansion, and anything else they come out with this year. Be sure to check out my website, dangerouswaterscomics.com, for all things Marvel Multiverse role-playing game. You can buy all of your supplies there, all the books, and download some free stuff that I've created. There you'll also find information about my upcoming Kickstarter campaign for a horror and sci-fi graphic novel called the Obzerian Chronicles, featuring 6 distinct stories with a team of creators. Each story has a different art style and different writing style, and you can find information about it at dangerouswaterscomics.com. You can also order ashcan copies as well, and copies of each of the individual stories. They will be released as limited printings of 50 copies each, so you can get ahead on that as well. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you for watching, and remember,
we don't bite here.